So I have a very important presentation to give today, and I thought I'd test it out here on YouTube first because, you know, the internet is a safe space. But yeah, let's see what I got cooked up. A PowerPoint on all the girls that rejected me. Number 1. IU. Oh, that was cool. Well, thank you for coming to my little presentation. My name is Yankee Sam 11, and psych! You really thought I was done there? Look, I know. As hard as it may be to believe, I have been rejected multiple times. In fact, my first ever rejection was by someone who goes by the name Kelly Kapowski. Now, in case you're a Zoomer and don't know who Kelly is, let me explain through a couple little graphs. This is a graph of the world population over time, and this is a graph of all the people who have ever thought Kelly was attractive. We went through that a little quick, so let me show you guys one more time. Here's graph 1, and here's graph 2. Now let's isolate the guys' population by introducing something guys really love: pies. This is a pie chart. Here in blue shows the percentage of guys who have a crush on Kelly Kapowski. And then in red, we got the percentage of guys who got a crush on Kelly Kapowski, but in red. And then we got the librarians. But why? Why are guys attracted to Kelly Kapowski? Well, to help you understand and remember this long term, let me introduce an acronym. HOT. HOT stands for hot, and totally cool personality, which is all that really matters. Now that we got all the science and English out of the way, let's get into some history. You see, back in the day, Kelly was on this TV show called Saved by the Bell, where she ends up with this guy, Zach Morris, aka Mr. Two First Names. And you know, the 5th grade version of me really thought the only reason Kelly chose Zach over me was because he was white and blonde and attractive. But then I realized Zach Morris was half Asian. So I was wrong. Kelly didn't choose Zach over me because I wasn't white, blonde, or attractive. She chose Zach because, yes, everyone say it with me now, because I wasn't blonde or attractive. But you know who is blonde and attractive? The first girl I ever asked out. But you know who is blonde and attractive? The first girl I ever asked out. I remember the day fondly. I was just a wee little boy at a new high school where I didn't know anyone. Now for me, that meant this was an opportunity for me to recreate myself. You see, up until that point, I had been the Asian nerd, and I didn't want to spend the next 4 years of my life like that. And so, I decided to ask out the most popular girl in school, Charlotte Johnson. That's a lie. I was too scared to do that. So I asked out the second most popular girl in school, Jennifer Aniston. Back in the day, this is how I viewed the world. On one side, you got the blonde people. On the other side, you got the popular people. And where they meet, that's where you get the attractive people. And then there's me, Asian male. I thought I couldn't get into that inner circle on my own. But maybe if I dated someone in that inner circle, I could join by adoption. So when we had a school dance coming up, I knew I had to do something big to get Jenny's attention. So what did I do? I love you, you love me, will you go to prom with me? Yeah. And she said no. Now, there's only one reason why she would say no. It was because, I'm forgetting the word for it. It's like thinking, but in real life.
You mean like talking?
Yeah, that's it. I didn't know you were supposed to talk to a girl before you ask her to a school dance, so I don't think Jenny even knew who I was when I asked her to the dance. But that's okay, because her rejection led me to rejection number 3. Who, in some ways, was the most fun rejection. I met rejection number 3 my senior year of high school, and she was different from any other girl who had rejected me before. She seemed a little bit more thoughtful about life, but again, I didn't really talk to Kelly or Jennifer, so take that for what you will. And her dad was a billionaire. Yeah. It was Ivanka Trump. She was rejection number 3. I first conversed with Ivanka. Yes, I did actually talk to her, although not that much, because we were paired for a group project in class, and so I had her number, and anytime I was feeling particularly good about myself, I would send her a risky DM like, "Oh, I liked your Hydro Flask. What are you doing?" And I don't know if she actually ever responded. I mean, she had to, right? But then again, maybe she didn't. Maybe she just liked dry humor more. Ba-doom. This is so bad. Anyways, one day I was like, screw it. I'm not gonna be that guy that graduates high school without a girlfriend. And so I mustered up all my courage and asked her to coffee over a text. And here's the timeline of what happened next. You see, when I texted her, it was probably around 8 p.m. on a Friday night, and I was out with my boys, and they just kept telling me, stop checking your phone to see if she responded, because I was doing it like every 5 minutes. And so I gave my phone to one of my friends to hold on until midnight, and then we went to Vaughn's and got some ingredients and made some really good Alfredo. But then midnight hits and we finished the Alfredo, and my friend gives me back my phone. I check and we witnessed the impossible. No response. And what is this? Oh, right. This is a diagram of all the high school seniors who are asleep by 8 p.m. on a Friday night. Anyways, I go to sleep, and the next morning I check my phone, and there it is! No response. Now, before we go any further, I need to do a quick little vocab lesson with you, so let me introduce you to a new word called heterodactylphobia. Now, despite what it may sound like, heterodactylphobia stands for the fear of the number 17. And why might someone be afraid of the number 17? I don't know. 7, 8, 9, but it's not like 17, 18, 19. I swear that sounded better in my head. It took her 17 hours to respond, and when she did respond, she said, "Nah, I'm going to Australia." What I took away from this is that, if I really think about it, when I want to spend quality time with people I love, we go to Outback Steakhouse. Her, she goes to the actual Outback. We would have never worked out. And so, I moved on to rejection number 4. Who's messing with my slides? Like, what the? This is the part where you stop acting like you didn't make these Judy Hopps slides yourself. Ah, I got you, you silly rabbit. You thought someone else put those slides there, didn't you? Well, you're wrong. It was me, Mario. Wrong Mario. This is Mario Lopez, otherwise known as AC Slater, otherwise known as Zach Morris's best friend, otherwise known as another guy Kelly Kapowski rejected. You see, in Saved by the Bell, before Kelly ends up with Zach, Mario Lopez's character, Slater, is trying to get Kelly as well, but Kelly rejects him for his best friend, Zach Morris. And why is this important? Because that's what Judy Hopps did to me. She rejected me for my friend. But look, come close. I'll tell you a secret if you promise not to tell anyone else. Judy Hopps never really rejected me. I know. I mean, she did, but also not really. Like, she actually did date my friend, but Judy Hopps doesn't exist. Judy is just a metaphor for someone I knew in real life, because as hard as it may be to believe, rabbits don't exist. And you know what else doesn't exist? Banana trees. Like, think about it. Where are the seeds of a banana? And if there are no seeds, how do these trees grow? But on a more serious note, in the same way, rejection also doesn't actually exist. I mean, the act of someone rejecting you is in fact a real thing, and you're not being delusional about it unless you are actually delusional, in which case it actually didn't happen and it is fake. But that's not really what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say, I think, is that the feelings of rejection and loneliness that follow being rejected aren't actually real. Look, I'm not trying to invalidate anyone's feelings by saying your feelings aren't real, even though that's exactly what I just said in the previous sentence, but I think what I meant is I know what it's like to be rejected and then to feel very alone and to think that I will never be attractive enough or smart enough or heck, rich enough to be accepted by somebody. But on the other side of these feelings and thoughts, I've come to realize that oftentimes it's my choice whether or not I want to dwell with these feelings and thoughts, because these thoughts are not true. There are people out there that will accept you and love you, and even if you're like me and you've never been on a date before, there is hope for you. How do I know? Because I see glimpses of it in my own life. I see it in the way my parents would buy me a California burrito when they know I've had a bad day. I see it in the way my friends play basketball with me even though they don't want to because they know they'll lose. Heck, I see it in the way strangers hold the door open for me, even though I'm really far away from the door. Kindness does exist in this world. Like, if a stranger who knows absolutely nothing about me can show kindness by holding a door open for me, imagine how much more kindness and love and acceptance someone who does know all the great things about you will show for you. I guess what I'm trying to say is if you've ever been rejected, just take it as an encouragement to keep going until you find that right person for you. That's why when I made this presentation, it wasn't about bashing all the people that rejected me. In fact, I have absolutely zero ill will towards them. I am genuinely very, very thankful for them. And actually, to finish off this presentation, I want to thank Kelly Kapowski, Jennifer Aniston, who's the third one? Ivanka Trump, and Judy Hopps for teaching me Ket Kuj, which doesn't stand for anything, but if you say it in a Borat accent, it sounds like get good, which is a reminder to thank every rejection for teaching me how to get good at handling rejection. Thanks for listening to my presentation. I gotta go give this to Harvard's admissions office now because, well, I got rejected.